Everyone laughed when he vowed to marry her in preschool. But look at him now. He was extremely nervous. He had vowed to marry her, but they hadn't been in touch for several years. Some claim that true love is a myth. But imagine if you knew who you were destined to be with from a young age. Love is a beautiful puzzle, and everyone deserves to be loved by someone. And for him, that someone was in the same classroom as him. His classmates just looked at him and laughed at what he said. They had no idea that he was a man of his word and was going to honor it once he was older. Matt Grodsky and Laura Scheel went to the same preschool in Phoenix, Arizona. These two adorable kids were only 3 years old, but they'd formed an inseparable bond. Everyone was flabbergasted by their connection. It was so unique and magical. But most people assumed that their link would eventually snap, and that's exactly what happened. They hung out at the playground a lot and eventually became best friends. Grodsky was a goofball from the start, which is what Scheel found so appealing. They laughed and explored the world. Parents and teachers marveled at Grodsky and Scheel's joined-at-the-hip friendship. They thought it was simply adorable, but they never thought it would lead to anything. And in a sense, they were right. The young couple would eventually prove everyone wrong. The two best friends spent as much time as possible while in school. They also planned ahead so that they could spend more time together on the weekends. These two ended up creating some memorable times together. Then one day, Grodsky did something so shocking that the entire classroom made fun of him. He stood in front of everyone and told them he loved Scheel. "Just you wait," he exclaimed as he added that he intended to marry her. No one was going to take the word of someone who was 3 years old. But as they got older, life took them in different directions. By the time they were ready for kindergarten, these adorable kids wound up in 2 separate schools. Despite this obstacle, they did as best as they could to stay in touch. Unfortunately, their friendship grew farther apart with the passage of time. As they continued their journey through elementary school, the two lovebirds became perfect strangers. They met other people, made new friends and new memories. 7 years later, Scheel saw a photo of Grodsky, and the feelings she felt in preschool flooded her psyche and her heart. By the time Grodsky and Scheel started high school, they were further apart. But then one day the sparks they once had were reignited like magic. During the start of her freshman year, Scheel was scrolling through her friend's contact list on her phone. Then she saw Grodsky's name. She became flushed at the mere sight of his name, and her friends noticed it too. So they asked her what was up. Then Scheel told her friend about her childhood sweetheart. Once she did, her friend came up with a brilliant plan. Scheel's friend decided to reunite her with her preschool love interest. So she came up with a plan to set them both up. But Scheel had other ideas. "I was a freshman in high school, so I was like, I don't think so," Scheel told people. But her friend decided to reach out to him anyway. Scheel was anxious about the whole thing too. But then Grodsky surprised her in such an amazing way that all the butterflies in her stomach flew away. Shortly after Scheel got a text from Grodsky, they both decided to meet. Neither of them knew what to expect, especially since so much time had passed. It turned out that they still had chemistry together. They went to the movies and it was magical. It felt as if they had never drifted apart. They were officially dating 2 weeks after Grodsky texted Scheel. But the two weren't out of the woods yet. They still had several more obstacles to overcome before getting there happily ever after. Grodsky and Scheel saw each other every week, and they made the best of their time they had together. But then college came along, and they knew that this would be difficult on their relationship. "Right after we graduated from high school, we were pretty hesitant," said Scheel in an interview with People. "We were like, do we stay together? Do we try to make it work?" It seemed as though destiny was going to split them up. But they decided to fight for their love. Scheel enrolled at Northern Arizona University, while Grodsky moved to Chicago and enrolled at Columbia College. Even though they lived several miles away, they decided that nothing would keep them apart again. And still, Scheel had no idea that Grodsky's declaration of love in preschool was just as strong today. During their senior year of college, Grodsky decided to surprise Scheel in one of the most adorable ways ever. "I convinced Laura that we were going to a picnic at the preschool. We had just finished up our junior year of college, so I framed it as a nice relaxing date, Grodsky told Huffington Post. When they got to their intended destination, Grodsky got down on one knee and popped the big question. "Yes," Sheil exclaimed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this happening?" Everything had gone according to Grodsky's plan. I proposed to her at the place it all began, our preschool classroom. "When you like someone, you just kind of stand up and say it," Grodsky said in an interview. He knew from the very moment he laid eyes on her that he wanted to marry Sheil. And as soon as he put the ring on her finger, the floodgates opened up. "This is gorgeous. I'm so happy with it. I had no idea," Sheil exclaimed. But the couple didn't know their love story would make the news. In December 2016, Grodsky married Sheil just like he'd vowed that he would nearly 20 years earlier. Grodsky's uncle officiated the ceremony and described the bride and groom's relationship as, "For most kids in preschool, it's about finding your snacks and your sleeping mats. But for them, it was about finding their soulmates." Then one day the couple woke up and realized their names and faces made headlines on social media. Shortly after they got hitched, Sheil went on social media and shared the story of how he and Grodsky met. She shared a social media account called The Way We Met, and it told the story of their love. The post had a caption in which Grodsky explained how their love began. "I was enamored with Laura as a child and I still am this day," he wrote. The post went viral as his declaration of love tugged at everyone's heartstrings. The last thing the couple ever expected was to draw so much attention to themselves. Folks from around the globe started leaving their comments on the page about how much they adored this couple. In fact, Sheil had woke one day and discovered that her post had been shared over 300,000 times. Even famous actor and rapper Tyrese Gibson shared the post. He also admitted to being a sucker for a true love story. He proved it by offering the couple a 3-day vacation to Miami. But there was still more to this amazing love story. "It's totally insane. I'm eating a sandwich at work, getting messages saying, 'Hey, you're in India. Hey, you're in Paris.' It spread like wildfire. And we're just glad to be part of something positive around the world," Grodsky told Huffington Post. "It's just crazy." After getting married, the couple bought a house and adopted a dog named Kirby. Sheil told People magazine that they've talked about having kids someday, but for the time being, they're happy with their puppy and are enjoying the magical bond of love with each other.